Hey friends, today I wanted to give you a brief overview of exactly what YNAB looks like and how we use it. I'm on the YNAB website right now, and I just wanted to give you an idea of what their 4 rules are. They actually have their own set of rules that they would like us to follow when using the program. It's not necessary, but it is very helpful and has really made my husband and I think about our money in a different way. So when you get to the YNAB website, this is what you'll see. And we're going to scroll down and talk about the 4 rules. The first rule is to give every dollar a job. With YNAB, you have your income. So anytime you get money into the bank, you input it into YNAB. And when that money is sitting there into the screen to be budgeted, that's when you're actually going to budget it out. You're not going to budget money unless it's actually sitting in the bank. Then rule 2 is to embrace your true expenses. These expenses are things that are long term. This is showing Christmas. You can create goals. You just want to embrace those longer term expenses that you're not necessarily thinking about in January. We're not thinking about Christmas and Thanksgiving in January, but we know down the road that we're going to have to fund those. And YNAB really wants you to think long term so that way you have the money in your account to not have to use a credit card. They want you really using your cash and not going into debt. Rule 3 is the roll with the punches, and this is one of my favorite things about YNAB. Rather than just setting a budget and saying, I have $400 this month for groceries, and then you overspend and your budget's out the window. YNAB actually helps you see how much money you're spending, and if you do go over, they suggest that you take money from another fund. So say you went over in the groceries, but you still have some money left in your eating out, you can take that money from eating out and apply it to the groceries, so that way your budget always balances. And rule 4 is to age your money. And what this means is they want you to age your money in such a way that you break the paycheck to paycheck cycle. They want you to get to a point where you're living on last month's income rather than living paycheck to paycheck. And you can see in this little chart, you start here with getting paid, and then you spend some money, you budget, you spend your money, you roll with the punches in case something comes up, you cover it with a budgeting category that has funding, and then you start to age your money, and again you roll with the punches, and then you bask in your budgeting glory, and you repeat. And it's a cycle every month. Okay, so now that we've gone over the 4 rules, you can learn more about these rules at ynab.com or youneedabudget.com, and I'll have the links down in the description box below. And now we're going to actually go into the program so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so this is a clean budget. There is nothing in it, and this is exactly what you're going to see when you set up a new budget in YNAB. It'll have the month to be budgeted, it'll show your funds for January, what you've overspent, if it's your first month and there's no overspending from the first month, what you budgeted in January, and then you can also budget into the future. So, the first thing you want to do with YNAB is add your accounts. And now the great thing with YNAB is you can add your financial institution. This works well for people within the US. I don't believe international banks are included. But for training purposes, we're just going to skip that. And we're going to name accounts. So I need a checking account. And I am just going to call it checking. And we're going to put in a dollar amount. So say you have $2,500 sitting in your checking account today. That's what you're going to put in. You're going to put in what is truly in your account. Not what you're projecting to have this year, what is actually there. And then you hit save. And we can add another account. And this we will call savings. And it's a savings. And say there is your $1,000 baby emergency fund in there. and then you hit save. And now we are done. So it's showing that we have an inflow in savings, there's an inflow in checking, and then if we go back to our budget, we now have $3,500 to work with. Now, YNAB does populate some categories for you to budget with. Of course, you can change them. If you click right on the words, you can change it. So we'll just change that to mortgage and so forth. They have your immediate obligations up in here. And then true expenses. These are kind of like what people refer to as sinking funds with the Dave Ramsey plan. These are expenses that you might not necessarily cover every month, but it's something that you actually want to budget for every month. And then moving down, they do have a category for debt payments. There is, when you add an account, there is a way to add a line of credit or PayPal, mortgage, etc. And then quality of life goals, vacation, fitness, education. Again, you can change these to fit your lifestyle. And then we also have just for fun, dining out, gaming, music, stuff that's not a necessity, but things that you might want to have in your budget. So what we're going to do from this $3,500, we know that we need to budget $500 for our mortgage payment, $100 for our electric, say water's $25. Remember, this is just for training purposes to show you how it works. These are not anywhere close to what people actually spend on these things, and if it is, then great. Internet, we'll put 100. Groceries, we'll put 300. Transportation, this can be if you have a bus pass or your vehicle. We'll put $100 there. Interest and fees, I know some banks charge fees, so you could put money there. And then we'll go down and embrace our true expenses. So of course there's always going to be something in auto maintenance. So we'll put $200 there to cover oil changes and whatnot. Put $200 in our home maintenance. And as you see, as I'm adding these, it's taking money from the to be budgeted. Insurance, of course we all need insurance. Medical, clothing, gifts, giving, we'll tithe $350. Put money aside for a computer replacement, software subscriptions, let's say your YNAB subscription for the year. I think it's around $80, I'm not exactly sure. Say your student loan payment is $150. If you have an auto loan, the average auto loan is right around $450 right now. And as you see, we're getting closer to zero. Say we want to budget for a vacation coming up in the spring. We have a gym membership. We don't have any education, so I'm actually going to click on that and click delete. Oh, we need to dine out, of course. Gaming, music, not really my thing, but you can budget money there. Say you are a gamer, you can budget money for a video game, etc. So, as we're looking through, you might be thinking, Sarah, I'm missing such and such category. Well, that does happen. So, I'm going to click this little add a category, and say you have home security. It's a category that you might want to add because that bill comes up every month. And then we can add in that home security. So now we have all of our bills budgeted for the month. And we still have $120 to be budgeted. With YNAB, they really want you down to that $0 mark. So we needed to give this $120 a category. We need to put it somewhere in our budget. We can say we know that we're going to have something coming up at the house. Maybe we want to get it painted, or the air conditioner needs to be serviced. We can add some money to that category. Say we have a doctor's appointment coming up and we know we might need a little extra money there. We can add more money. And then we'll put the rest into stuff I forgot to budget for, just so you have a little bit of a slush fund. All right, great. So now we have spent all of our money for the month. And as the month goes on in our checking account, we are going to have a transaction. So I'm going to click Add Transaction, and I'm going to put today's date. Say payee was Walmart Neighborhood Market. And we actually want to categorize this. So we spent money for groceries at the market. You can add a little memo field if you'd like. And say we outflowed $75 for groceries. And then you just click Save. And you're going to do that for every transaction. It's kind of like balancing a checkbook, but it's online. And now when we go back to our budget, we're going to see that in the grocery line, our $300, we actually spent $75 in our activity, and now we have $225 available. And you're going to continue to do this throughout the month. And as you get to the end of the month, you're going to have some categories that might be green. Let's add a transaction. Say something happened with the car and you had to take it into the shop. So we're going to put car shop. And it's going to be under, oops, I believe it's, let's see, vehicle, where's vehicle maintenance? Auto maintenance. And we have $200 budgeted. Well, let's say our auto maintenance actually cost us $250. We're still going to outflow it as a $250 because that's what we truly spent, and we're going to save it. And then when we go back into the budget, you're going to see this red, and that means you overspent what you had allotted. If you click on it, we need to cover this overspending. And let's say we know that we don't need our clothing money this month. So I'm actually going to just click clothing, and it's going to take the money out of clothing and move it into our auto maintenance. And now everything balances. You want to make sure that you're always in the green or in the gray at the 0. And that makes sure that your budget balances. Okay, I know I went over that very quickly, but I wanted to have an overview just to show you how YNAB works a little bit, so when I'm sharing my budget, you kind of understand the program. Down in the description, I'm going to have a link for the 34-day free trial from YNAB, and if you sign up using my referral link, you'll actually receive an extra month free when you sign up for the subscription. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. And I hope you hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up and join me for more budgeting videos. I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.